Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Trekyards. He is Commander Cocky.
He's got a Foley!
Oh, what'd you say? Sorry, I deflected that.
Ah. Oh, yeah.
I deflected what you said.
Yeah. Although, in fairness, the Deflector would just stay static and it would... You dodged it, really.
Well, I did this, though. I deflected it with my hand.
Ah. But that's not the Deflector we're looking at today, Stuart. It's an energy
what?
field deflector. Yeah, it's a shield!
We're talking about karate.
Oh. No! You read the notes wrong.
Oh, man. Yes, we're talking about the deflector array of the Cerritos. Or more specifically, the inside of the deflector, which we see on MSDs all the time.
Yes.
And it was quite cool to see in this episode, Room for Growth.
To give some context, Boimler and Mariner are going through the ship. They want to get from the saucer into the pod, which is kind of cool. Explicitly showing you can travel through the pylons without having to say it, which is already nice. A nice little addition. And they find this big giant room, and it kind of vaguely feels like the Into Darkness engineering room, and we're not sure what it is. It could be anything. But story-wise, it was revealed it's the deflector dish, which is great. We see it spin, which is different, deflects the thing. They almost get killed, or Boimler does, because of the, you can only survive the G-forces so much. And we get a very clear, very useful, very direct look at the deflector of the Cerritos, and I do believe the first time I've seen an interior deflector dish ever. So that was another first for Lower Decks.
Was very cool, and you got to think they were at station keeping, orbit around a planet, so they wouldn't have it on. It kind of, when they first got in there, I'm like, oh, this is like the sweet spot on the NX-01 that Mayweather knew about. It's exactly what I thought it was, and I wasn't quite sure what it was. I didn't put it together that it was the deflector. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah,
they're going through some...
I thought it was this way up, so I was like, oh, but it actually was the way up.
Yeah. So, yeah, they said they were going through some weird rooms, so I was like, oh, we're going to see the rubber ducky room. We didn't.
Although I would think, now I mention all that, Boimler would know where they were, because there's only one giant deflector room space. There should be this, but there isn't much of this size on the ship. It's free, because this is almost the entire height of the... So you really should have known, given he's Mr. Nerd. I can't imagine the other two not knowing. I know you've never seen it from the inside, obviously, but you would think, you've gone to the front. And also, if you're going to the front, you've got to go back... But, it was a funny gag.
Yeah. And it was cool seeing it fire up internally and externally, and then kind of taking care of the asteroids as well. But honestly, to see the interior of it, you're right, it did have a Into Darkness engineering vibe where you kick the thing down to make it go up. What? But I really didn't even think about what room they were in when I first saw it. And then, once it spins up, that was really cool. Didn't expect that, so that was neat.
It's one of those things that the exterior is limited by the animation style. It's relatively simple. It's very Enterprise D-ish, but simple. You go inside, and the shapes are mismatching, because this is clearly a circle versus a very stretched oval. However, in this case, I have actually no problem with that, because it'd be obtruse to have such a giant, weird room like this, but also it's a dish. A dish is not reflective of the emitter. This is the emitter that's charging through the dish. So it's really interesting to see the entire disconnect of exterior to interior shape, but also how advanced and chunky the interior is, and yet small compared to the outside. So I just thought it's one of those few times mismatch really works.
You gotta imagine this part's probably set back a little bit, and then there's the arrays that deflect, spread it out. But yeah, it was kind of neat to see, and it makes sense that they're all simplistic, same kind of shape on the interior.
That's true.
But
that would not make sense. I mean, just like the phaser strips, it's a default, deflector issue Mark 17B. I mean, it would be a plug and play unit. The dish on the outside is irrelevant almost. It's obviously important, but the tech inside would be a standard issue thing. Yeah, so this is probably the same on many a ship, and I wonder if Mike ever thought, oh, this is it's like the Galaxy one or whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, I've seen many of these things in all eras of MSDs, and they all look relatively the same, and they go quite deep into the secondary hull.
Often astoundingly deep.
Why it's lower G, I'm not quite sure, but that was also kind of cool.
I mean, do you need gravity in a room that no one's ever going to go into?
Well, they go into it for repair stuff, obviously, but yeah, you really don't need gravity there at all. But
I would probably assume that maybe gravity plating there isn't actually any gravity plating. It's gravity plating on the outside that's sort of like residual gravity bringing them in. So I don't know if you could have a non-gravity room inside a gravity outer hull. So, but why would you need interior gravity plating, especially if you're there to fix, you want anti-gravity boots to be able to walk all around it. So you actually don't want a set gravity plane, I would think, because you're always going to repair 0G. And the low G happens to be a byproduct of being in a ship with gravity everywhere. Might seem a bit complicated, but I feel like that's probably a logical thing I just said.
I mean, it'd be a first, so...
Oh, we've never seen it. And I'm looking at the Connie, the Defiant that Doug did for Intermirror, and it is, it's the same vibe that, it is. You sort of understand it as being this big deflector giant area, and certainly, I mean, his version there is a inner dish which I've never really connected to an outer, prong to an outer dish. So, and that's obviously a long time ago, but he built that at the end of the cycle of Trek. So it all kind of links in. Yeah. So we saw Station Ops with lower decks, and I've seen the Deflector. So I have no doubt we're going to see more of the unique spaces, because you know what? They don't have to build practical sets or even truly CG sets. They can build simple. It's a different sort of format, and it's really, really good to see. And just it was a good scene, and I love the low keyness. They're not even that scared so much. It's like, just get them out, just fine, Yeah. Although I was kind of expecting there to be a slight nod or reference to the fact that the radiation was going to be something. Maybe he lost his hair and had to regrow it via medical. But now we know that exposure to the direct deflector charge is not any dangerousness at all, which is a good precedent to set. If I want to do a fan film where there's like a damaged deflector, you got to go in and it's like, no, it's fine. I'm just a small note, but it is now a canon precedent.
Well, it could still be dangerous if one of the conduits is ruptured and doesn't have the shielding around it, perhaps.
But that's the conduit's dangerous, not the deflector.
But it's leading into the deflector. There's like 4 big ones on the bottom of this one. Hey, now.
I mean, maybe one of those pipes will burst and a green gas will come out and burn all your skin away. The important gases that are right next to important things.
Yes, the coolant.
Mm-hmm. But you wouldn't need coolant. Well, things going to get really hot. Anyway, good job. Perfect.
Yeah, so congrats to Mike and team for showing us another first for Star Trek canon. And that is awesome.
And if you want to support what we do here, Stuart, they can see our videos because they're free, they're available, they're around all week. The lives are there for discussions, the videos are there for in-depth edited breakdowns, tune in for any video, any week, or if you're interested in what we thought about previous things, both at the time and sometimes retrospectives, then what do you think, if you're new to this channel, what do you think of Lower Deck Season 1? Well, we have all that archived, discussioned, and often it's then fun to look back and say, well, how have they changed the show since? Well, we are a timepiece at the time. So go back and check all the old content too.
That's right. And if you want to join us for lives and support the channel, please do.
Please do.
You can super chat. Let us know your thoughts, or you can super thanks on this video or any other video, and that really helps us out. Lots of ways to show your support. There's descriptions down below for Teespring and TeePublic as well. So yeah, please support us so we can keep doing what we love to do, and us talking about Trek with all of you guys. So until next time, he's Commander Cockney.
He's getting Foley.
I didn't deflect that one.
Good job.
Yeah.
Nice.